would say that yes, old best friends who were with us during our childhood will always be in our memories. And yeah, whenever we will think about them, we will get back to the emotions and our old version during childhood. So, as I said, that when we reconnect with our old friends, we are not just rekindling a friendship, but we are also revisiting the emotions that came with it. We are reliving the happy memories and we are re experiencing the sense of safety and security that came with someone having by our side. So, I want to talk about this one guy who was my first male best friend. I mean, right now, this term of male best friend is very into hype, but we were like really good friends back then, and he was my first male best friend. So I met him when I was in my kindergarten, and I still remember he was the first person with whom I used to travel back in school, and we had some kind of connection as both of our mothers were also friends, and we used to like come to each other's home and we used to play together. And yeah, I mean, like 6 or 7 years we were like classmates and then batchmates and then like coaching mates. So I mean, we shared the same interest in academics, but yeah, in every friendship, there is this one thing, I mean, the darkest phase. Even in our friendship, we face that. When we were like, even now we are teenagers, like, we are 18, we will be adults very soon, like proper adults. But yeah, when we were in the age of like around 15, I remember we were in our 10th standard, and this was the very first time he came into a relationship. So at that time, he was the person in our entire friends group who was dating someone, and he mentioned about this girl who he was dating to me at the very first moment. I was thrilled because never had some experience, so I was very like a noob about all these things. I just like had a conversation with him that how the things went and all. I remember we had a meetup, and then when a girl and a guy are best friends, people do misinterpret or misjudge it as like in the sense of love or something else. So even on that day, we had a meetup, and few of our friends were like kind of annoying or teasing me with his name, and I was very like done with it. I was like, please don't do that. He's already in a relationship with someone. And yeah, I just like mentioned about this. They were asking me about tons of questions about it, and I didn't like bother to answer any of it. So the next day, what happens is that my male best friend, he calls me furiously and he's like, "Why did you mention about my relationship during the meetup?" I was like, people were misjudging or misinterpreting us in a romantic way, so I had to clear the things. And that moment, he tells me that he broke up with that girl, and the things were really furious. I was like really apologetic to him, but he was like, we are not friends anymore. And I was also very furious. I was like, you should have told me because I don't know, right? So you should have informed me about this breakup or anything. As we are friends, we need to talk about everything. So at that time, we were teenagers. We were not matured enough to know that, yeah, every friendship, there are some boundaries, there are some like limited stuffs that we keep it with ourselves or with our partners and don't share with our best friends. So back then, like we had blocked each other for 3 months, and after 3 months, one fine day, he calls me again. And I remember he had some kind of like sadistic experience with his academic session, I guess. And he called me and he was crying, and things again became normal as usual. So yeah, When you are teenagers, you will have these kind of experience, but doesn't matter. These won't affect your friendship. These are the like storms that you always face, but yeah, the friendship remains the same. Do you guys like had any sort of this kind of misinterpretation, or I mean kind of dark phase between your nice friendship?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the circumstances can just zoom into today. What happened was in my college, I used to sit with one guy, and that was back then in the first semester. Now, we became very good friends, and of course, I used to chat, I used to be the chatting box, and he used to be the listener, and the not so doer, and I used to be the doer in all the assignments and the projects and everything out there, which involved the teamwork. It so happened that he used to pair us up, and that did not disturb me because I was the Aquarius girl. Come on, because and not because I'm Aquarius girl, but rather I'm Aquarius. I know this fact for sure. That I'm known for making friends. Maybe that could be something stereotypical, but again, I feel like the more number of people I interact with, it's always good and it's always amazing because I need not say yes or no to anybody, but I can analyze at that moment, but I can of course, have that particular thing called acquaintances, friendships, best friends, and sisterhood or brotherhood, right? So the kind of relationship I had with him was more of a brotherhood, which people obviously misinterpreted. Of course, in the colleges, in the educational institutions, or in the workplaces, there are gossips behind you and in front of you. To be very honest, and people just speak certain names, and yeah, that's their persona, and also there are people who don't do that, unfortunately. And yes, there is a silver line in every cloud. So I didn't care much about it, and it so happened that there was a rule which was being established in the college that in the second semester you're not supposed to like sit together, like a girl and a boy could not sit together. Well, I don't know the reason behind it, but so he had to go back afterwards. And when he did, I didn't feel like anything because I felt like I have lost somebody and who could like listen to me because he was patiently listening to me each and every day, and suddenly I had that void. And that just brings me back again to say what happened. That one of my professors, she was talking to that guy from the back, and she asked me, "Why are you so silent? You interacted really well in the first time." And everybody started making some sort of judgments and noises and all that. And that guy particularly did not say anything, but well, I got mad at him. Well, that's how something was happening. And this time I was really infuriated because I'm just discovering myself, I could say. I'm just into this self-discovery process, and I'm into a glow up or girl era, and I have of course trying to follow certain trends, and I'm just trying to adapt it after it makes some sense to me, and of course it is making a lot of sense for me to be in the self-discovery era. Well, so it so happened that today in the library I met him after the classes, and I just told him very directly that no, it's not good. I know why they're firing us. And he was like, it's just for fun. And yeah, I did. I think certain things have to be taken really lightly. We not have a black mark on the friendship as such because we know what we are right. We know that platonic friendships exist. We know that anybody could be friends in today's modern age and era. And not just that, even if you look at the other side of the world, which is we have other sort of romantic relations as well, like we have the LGBTQIA plus. But again, the concept is highly contextual, and it's highly conceptualized that we are not very sure if we have to follow it at this moment because yes, that's a different topic and that's a different discussion altogether and slightly controversial as well. I wouldn't like to touch upon that. But again, talking about the friendships, like it is when we know we could be really good friends and me and a guy have this a really good bond, I think that's all matters. Because if we could be really good friends, our friends could be really good friends with each other as well. I think, and yes, this things will be happening. I think that's not never, it is never gonna go out of fashion. But whatever it is what it is. If the other person knows, or the if your friend knows that you're right, if you know you're right, I think that's all matters. I think, yeah.
some story. So yeah, it's like really great talking with you, Aquarius girl. Libra girl, please say if you have like anything to add.
Okay, so as we have talked about the sense of friendship, I want to add something more to this. I had this one friend of mine back in 11th standard, and this was the first time I changed my school. I had new friends, new people around me, and it was really alienating. But even at that time, I had this one really good friend who was more like a brother to me, who used to accompany me as my classes, and the distance to my home was really far. And he used to make sure that I reached back home safely. So, I mean, you don't need siblinghood emotion just by your blood related cousins or siblings. You can also find the siblinghood emotion from someone who is really protective about you in a sisterhood or a brotherhood way. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I had a really nice conversation with both of you. If you guys want to know more about this podcast about Ties and Tales August edition, please let us know. And for now, we will end this podcast over here and would like to know more about your insights in the comment box. We will be back with our next podcast on Sunday, so stay tuned.